again, this is UML Operator. Hello and welcome. If this is your first time using Sparx Enterprise Architect, or you're just learning Unified Modeling Language, UML, then let's just jump into some things to help you get started. So we just launched Sparx, and your desktop may look something like this. So the default factory settings, we've got browser on the left, we have properties in the upper right, and we have notes in the lower right. And this area right here is your work area. Across the top, you've got start, design, layout, development, all the way across to settings. And if you want to find commands, just type them in here and Sparx will help get you to them. You'll notice when you're selecting these tabs across the top, one constant is the Explore group, where you have search and you have portals. All right. So don't be overwhelmed by all of these buttons and all of these groups. You just need to know a couple of simple tabs and groups. First is the Start tab, and then you have All Windows. All Windows has a bunch of tools here to help you get to things. So if you select each one of them, they will bring up different areas that you can get to, right? So the first one is Design. And in design, you're able to select things like if you want to use search, takes you right to search, which is the same thing as going right here to search, right? Next here, you've got create a new package. And if you do this, it will bring up a new package based on the folder that you are in. And you have the ability to create a package with a diagram in it or just a package only. Let's just create a package only. And there you go, package one, no diagram. If you select design again, and you come to new diagram, you're on the package one that we just created. It brings up this dialog box where you can select from a basic set of tooling that's available to you, as well as the diagrams that go in them. You can also create a package and diagram anywhere in here. This is the root node, the highest level. This is level 1, and this is where you're mostly going to be working, all right? And then you can create as many sub packages as you want. Let's create a sub package under package 1. Up here is a toolbar within this window that you can use, and we can drag this window anywhere we want. We're going to put it over here on the left side where the factory default is, and we're going to select this Create New Package icon, right? Then we get the same dialog box here, package only or package with a diagram. We're going to go package only. And now we've created a package one. Under package one, it's parent package. Now let's create a diagram using this toolbar across the top. So we select the Create New Diagram. We get the same dialog box here. And we have a choice of diagram types that we can choose, all right? Let's just create a simple class diagram. And there we go. It takes the same name. You have an opportunity to rename the diagram anything you want. We're just going to go with the default package name for the diagram. And if you look over in properties, you have the properties for this diagram. There are no notes, nothing defining this. And now you've got your first diagram in here you can start modeling with. Now I want to start modeling, but where's my toolbox? Where's my tooling to bring in my boxes and my lines and those fun things, all right? So in the factory default, toolbox is not a default window that comes up. If we go to design again, and you come over to diagram toolbox, let's go ahead and select it. It pops up a toolbox that you can use to start drawing with. And again, you can drag and drop these windows anywhere you want. I'm going to put it over on the far left side. So I have toolbox, I have browser, I have my work area. In my work area, I've got tabs that I've opened up. And then over in the right, I have properties for the diagram, the package, or the element, any element within Sparx. And then I have an area where I can start typing descriptions and notes as much as I want. Let's go back up to package 1 at the very top, the parent package, and let's create a new package. And what we're going to do is we're just going to call this my diagram. All right. And then we're going to create a diagram inside this package, and we're going to take the same name, my diagram. Let's go ahead and hit OK. Now you'll notice that you have some types to choose from. And this is a very minimal view of the basic tooling that's available in Sparx Enterprise Architect. So in UML, from the very beginning, there were structural type diagrams, right? Package, class, object, composite, all the way down to deployment. And there were behavioral type UML diagrams, use case, activity, state machine, communication, sequence, timing, all the way down to interaction. And Sparx tries to tell you what each one of these diagram types are. It's not always there, right? You can see as I'm clicking these. And then there's diagrams underneath them that are extending the use case or whatever diagram type you're choosing. So you have the ability to choose from different ones. Again, an explanation of these sub diagram types for activity and other things you're choosing from. So we're going to go to class, structural, hierarchy, and so on. All right. So these configure the different types of class diagrams that you may want to draw, and they set them up for you. We're just going to use a simple class diagram here, and we're going to go with my diagram as the diagram name, and we're going to get OK, right? So now we have underneath the package 1 parent folder, a package called my diagram with my diagram type. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and double click and open it up. Then I'm going to right click in here, and I just only want to see this diagram. All right, select it. Now this is the only thing that is open. Now this is your Sparx instance, and if you are allowed, unless the model administrator is constraining you, you can do anything you want here, set it up. So we're going to go to perspectives, and you can see right now under personal, I have 4 different configurations. The one we're currently on is minimalist, right? And if I go to settings, I'm able to create new personal sets. So we're going to create a new personal set, and this is just going to be called Learning UML, and we're not going to choose strict. We're just going to hit OK. And then from here, over in the technologies that I'm going to choose from, I'm going to hit the plus button. And I get all of these model-driven generation technologies, right? And then over here, I want to add basic UML. And then we're just going to go with basic UML for now and hit OK, right? And then I'm going to hit close. And then what I'm going to do in my perspectives is I'm going to go to personal, and here it is, learning UML, right? Now, when I'm creating a diagram, and you have patterns to choose from if you're learning, you can choose these, play around with them. A lot of instructions on what to do. You can create starter package diagrams, elements, objects, class diagrams. So let's go with a starter class diagram. Let's go ahead and create in this folder, my diagrams, hit create. And what it's doing right now is building in this package, starter class diagram. We can open it up, and here it goes. It gives us some boxes and lines to get started. I'm going to delete my diagram right here. I'm going to right click on it and then delete my diagram. Gives you a warning message, and now it is gone. We're going to create a new diagram in here by selecting new diagram up here, and then we get this dialog box here, and you'll notice perspectives. This is all perspectives. These are all of the MDGs, or model-driven generated tools that they've given you. It can be overwhelming. If you set up your own personal sets, you can come down here to the one we just configured, Learning UML, and you'll notice that you've got these 3 that are set up, right? And let's see what else we've got here. Minimalist, same configuration, right? Personal set. I want to go to everything. I get everything. But we're going to stay with learning UML. And then these are the only tools that are given to us for doing our modeling. We'll create a class diagram of the same name. You can change the name up here and hit OK. Now, some are telling me they are not seeing, let's go back up here to diagram type, and let's go back to our personal learning UML. They're not seeing extended MDG or library, I want to say, in here. And that may be because you have it turned off. All right. So I'm going to delete this one I just created. Yes, thank you very much. And you may have it turned off in perspective. So we go to settings and you're looking at the different types that are available. You may have configured a model-based set or a personal set that doesn't include the extended. The other problem may be, and this is a little bit more advanced, if you go to settings and you go to options, you can actually control the MDG technologies that you see, and core extensions may be disabled. All right. So talk to your model administrator or your trainer, and they will help you fix any problems that you have. Now, if your toolbox doesn't look like this, you can right click anywhere in here and you can hide labels. So you just see the icons. I'm going to do the same thing down here in relationships, hide labels. You just see the icons that are here. And unless you know what these icons are, that might work for you. All right. But I'm going to show labels, and I'm going to right click and show labels. All right. So I can see those. Other things you can do is you can collapse your categories within your toolbox. All right. You can collapse them, open them up and collapse them. The other way to collapse them is to right click anywhere in here, and then you can collapse the current branch. All right. So right click on it, doesn't open it. There you go. So you can collapse from within the toolbox. Once it's collapsed, you'll use the up or down caret to expand or collapse the particular category. Let's have the class category expanded and the relation category. And let's draw a simple 2-box, 2-element diagram. So we're going to select class, and we can double click it. Doesn't do anything, but we drag and drop it into our modeling environment, and we've just added a class 2. We added a class 1 earlier, so it's right over here in our browser. Let's drag and drop it from our browser over here as a link. All right. You'll learn instance and generalization later on in the channel, but from an object-oriented modeling perspective, we're going to bring this in as a link. All right. So now we have 2 elements in here, class 1 and class 2. Now we want to draw a connector from class 1 to class 2. There's 2 ways at least to do this. One of them is to select the source, and then you see these arrow right here. Hold your mouse button down on it, drag and drop the line over to the target, which is going to be class 2, and then let go. And you have this selection of all these different connector types you can use. We're just going to do a simple line or association, and there you go. All right. So we want to bring in another class element. Let's bring in another element. We're going to leave the default name, which is class 3. And the other way to draw a connector is over in the class relationships. You have a few selections here: association, simple line, generalization on down. And you'll learn more about these connector types later on in the channel. Let's just choose associate, right? So we're going to select it. Then you see it turns into this hand icon. We're going to select our target, hold down the mouse button, drag it to the source. This is the source, sorry. This is the target, and let go. And so now if we double click on this, we get a dialog box that pops up that shows that our source is class 2 and our target is class 3, right? And then the direction is unspecified. We just used a simple line. Here you can say, well, I want to show an arrow from the source to the destination of the target. So I'm going to choose that and I'm going to hit OK. And there you go. Now you've got an arrow going there. Congratulations. You have now learned how to get started in Sparx EA, and you've learned how to draw a simple diagram. Later on in the channel, you'll learn how to do things like creating or building composite diagrams underneath elements. So over in the browser, we can select class 1, come up to diagram again, and then we want to add a behavioral diagram, a sequence diagram, and we're going to hit OK. So now we have a sequence diagram underneath class 1 that we can start drawing a sequence to show how this particular element interacts with other elements. For example, in this sequence diagram right here in this workspace, we can take class 1, drag and drop it in, not as a link, but in sequence modeling, we have something called lifelines. So we're going to bring it in as a lifeline, and now it comes in as an object within the underneath class as part of the sequence diagram. And we can do the same for other class. It remembered the last selection, lifeline. Let's bring this in. And now we have class 2 as an object. And you can start to say or show, how does class 1 and class 2 talk to each other? And you'll learn more about sequence diagrams as you progress in this channel. All right, we're going to wrap up now. Hopefully you've learned a bit here in getting started with both Sparx Enterprise Architect and UML modeling. Don't worry about these other boxes that are down here. I'm going to be creating videos of how to configure and remove these so they're not confusing to you. But now you know how to set up a very basic modeling environment that helps you only deal with the tooling from your own perspective that you're dealing with. So we're going to go to personal. Right here, minimalist, just have structural, behavioral, and extended. If they turn off the core modeling MDG here, you won't see this. You'll just see UML structural and behavioral tooling that's available for you. All right. You've learned about the properties window. The properties apply to diagrams. These are diagram properties. Elements. These are element properties. Connectors. This is an association. Connector properties, source, target, and more. All right. So hopefully this gets you started quickly. Play around, have some fun. And until the next episode, happy modeling.